I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, it's Saturday, time for one of my motivational blogs here. So let's talk about it. You know, I posted a blog a month and a half ago, and I'm always posting them. And people will often comment, about how, Owen, it was easier. I've heard this nonstop for decades now. That, man, you got lucky. You started buying real estate 25, 30 years ago. You could buy a condo for $65,000, $70,000, and what a cakewalk it was. And, maybe in some ways, yeah, sure, the prices were much less than they are today. But I've often said the interest rates were, fivefold. My early interest rates on my properties that I was paying were 15, 16%. But, I've said this many times before, if anything, and I know people are going to doubt me on this, but it is just as easy now as it was, according to some of these people, how easy it was for me back 25, 30 years ago to start. As a matter of fact, there's a lot more opportunity. Sure, prices are a lot higher. You got mortgage stress tests and you've got a lot more competition. Vancouver, is a much more desirable city than when it was 20 or 25 years ago and 30 years ago when I was buying. But there's other ways, though, that make up for that. Technology is a big one. The way you can leverage your time now into various ventures and side hustles and full-time careers that I never dreamed about 20 or 25 years ago. The ways you can invest your money now, access to the stock market and equities and commission-free trading, just the ways you can save for the down payment. In my days, it was putting it in a bank account or in a Canada savings bond. Now you've got access to some incredible low-cost, zero-cost index funds that can yield you 4, 5, 6%. Put some of your money into earmark some of that for the down payment. If it's going to take you 5 or 6 years, I would be accessing those kind of things, these high-yield ETFs. But technology is huge now. And of course, I said in that blog that I could think off 10 careers right now that you could get started in, and within 4 or 5 years, you could be making a 6-figure income. And I knew that I would get a whole bunch of people ask me, well, name these businesses, careers. Well, again, it goes back to where I'm not going to spoon feed you this stuff. You should be able to come up with these on your own. The other thing is that the interests that I have and the areas that I would go into are going to be much different than your interests and backgrounds and what you think you're going to enjoy. Because that's the first thing. You have to get into a career that you enjoy, that you have a passion for. Real estate has always been my passion. My father was a realtor. I was learning about the real estate business when I was 7 or 8 years old. So it's been a part of me for a long time. So it was a natural fit for me to go into real estate. The other thing I've got a passion for, of course, is business and investing. But yours might be something completely different. It might be clothing or computers or music. You want to angle yourself into a business and hopefully work for yourself, because that's the ultimate. It's tough, no problem working for someone for a paycheck while you're getting started. That's the beauty about technology these days. Don't quit your day job. Keep your regular day job, but on your off hours and on the weekends, get your passions going. Get other businesses going. But it's got to be something that you have an interest in. Realtors, for instance, it's a tough business. And realtors that don't have that get into this business, who don't have a real passion for working with clients, learning the business, learning about how real estate works and all its intricacies, they are out of the business within a year or two. Done. Just wasting their time. They're going to spend $10 or $20 or $30,000 on a whole bunch of time getting their license. If you don't have a passion for sales and real estate and believe in what you're selling, these people are gone. That's why 50% who get their license are gone after the first year, and like 80% are gone after 3 years. Those people just don't have the interest or the inkling to be in real estate in the first place. So it's a mistake. But there's all kinds of things. I met a guy at my gym, at my fitness center, about a year and a half ago. We were talking. He had recognized me from my YouTube channel. And he's an accountant by day, has a good job. He's a certified accountant. But he told me about a little side hustle he has on YouTube doing watch reviews. And, I didn't think much of it. He was very modest about, this little YouTube channel he had. But I went and checked it out, and damn it, this guy doesn't have about 250,000 subscribers. And we're talking tens of millions of views. So he's probably pulling down 6 figures from his YouTube channel, on top of the 100 or 150,000 he's making as a chartered accountant. There's lots of those kind of side hustles out there. People making money through YouTube or other ways. You know, one of the ways I'll give you here right off the top here is getting into a career in sales. So there's an easy one for you guys. But a sales career is not easy, but if you can get yourself into a business as a salesman selling what you have a passion for and you work at it, you can easily be making 6 figures within 3 or 4 years. That could be car sales, whatever, musical instruments, selling roofing products. I don't know. Use your imagination, but there are opportunities everywhere. You know, the system isn't broken. Vancouver is an extremely expensive city to live in, the cost of living, and then of course the big one is the cost of housing here. But as I've said many times here, these really desirable cities like Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, New York, Miami, London, Singapore, all these desirable cities have one thing in common: high cost of living and high real estate. And that will never change. So if you're waiting for some time to come where Vancouver real estate will revert back to what an average person makes in this city, you're going to be waiting a long time. I'm just giving you the tough love here. But if you want to make it work and you want to live in a city as great as Vancouver, it can be done. I know, and I know the system's not broken, because I'm working with young buyers all the time that have done it on their own. So many of my young buyers now are in the tech industry. They've gone to school, they become engineers, they're working with Amazon or SAP or Disney, or they're working for a small startup. I've got young clients that are tradespeople, certified trades, plumbers, electricians making 6 figures, crane operators, or they've got their own businesses. And a lot of those are leveraged off of technology, YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and those kind of things. Or they've done it the traditional route and they're a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. But you've got to rise above the masses here. It's not going to be easy. I mean, when I was 18, 19 years old, I bought my first condo. I've talked about it in my book. You know, when I was that age, I never dreamed about being able to live in a large detached house like my parents either. You know, prices were going up. It was getting harder to qualify for a mortgage. I wasn't making 6 figures at that time. It was a pipe dream for me too. I thought, hey, my parents are going to be the last generation that's going to be able to buy these homes. But it's not true. 6 years later, I made it happen and I bought my first detached home. And I've got young buyers all the time that have started with a condo or a townhouse 5, 6, 7 years ago. They call me up and they've saved their money. They've been making more money in their careers and side hustles. They're going to sell the townhouse and move up to their first detached home. But you've got to have the intention, as they say. You've got to set the goals, have the intention, and see the plan through. And the plan is, I've said many times before too, you're not changing with the weather, the way the wind's blowing. You stick with the program and it takes time, but you can get there. So, you know, stop feeling sorry for yourself. I know it's difficult here and some people just want to give up. You know, hey, for some people I've said too, that there are lots of fantastic cities that are more aligned to what an average wage earner earns. And there's nothing wrong with going to a more affordable city. But if you want to live in a city as great as Vancouver, best city hands down in Canada, then you're going to have to work for it. Because you're competing here against Canadians from all over. You know, the guy in Montreal or Toronto, when he retires, he's going to sell his detached house. A lot of them are coming out to Vancouver. I'm selling these homes to these people from Alberta, Ontario, Quebec, Manitoba. Every year are my buyers. I'm working on the buying side, and then on the listing side, I'm seeing these people coming in through my homes and buying. You know, that's what Vancouver's all about. It's the dream destination. If you've got some money and you're successful living in Toronto, you know, you're not dreaming of retiring and moving to Regina or Winnipeg. Usually not, maybe some. But you want to come out and to the West Coast, live the West Coast lifestyle, play golf year round, go to Hawaii in the winter, Palm Springs. This is where it's at. That's never going to change. It's only going to get better. But you've got to set the intention if you want to make it in a city like Vancouver. But I'm here to tell you it can be done. Start with my book, start with my Saturday motivational blogs. It'll help you stay the course, that positive affirmation that I'm always trying to give you guys just to keep going forward. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks to all my new subscribers. I'll see you next week.